If you're a Transformers fan in any capacity, odds are you've probably played one of these three games at some point in your life. Those three games obviously being Transformers War for Cybertron, Transformers Fall of Cybertron, and Transformers Rise of the Darkspark. The first in the trilogy, Transformers War for Cybertron, was released on June 22nd, 2010, over 12 years ago already, on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows PC. And the game was pretty much everything that people wanted out of a game like this. It was received very well by both critics and audiences alike, and is still looked upon as one of the great Transformers medias that we've ever gotten. The gameplay itself was very fine-tuned and polished, if not a little basic. There were two separate campaigns, the Autobot campaign and the Decepticon campaign, and in each mission you had three characters you could choose from. In this mission, you see in the background, for example, at the beginning you could choose from either Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, or Ratchet to play through this mission as. It was a really well done system with every character having different abilities and weapons, and it made every character feel and sound unique. While we're on the subject of sounding great, the sound design as well as the presentation and the graphics was also universally praised. Each one of these three games definitely pushed the boundaries of what the PS3 and Xbox 360 was capable of at the time. Transformers fans were eating great at this time. Not only did we just get this game, and the game was actually good, we were in the middle of getting the second and third Michael Bay film, and everything was just great. Things could not have gotten any better. Or so we thought. On December 6, 2011, High Moon Studios and Activision released the trailer for the highly anticipated sequel, Transformers Fall of Cybertron. I remember when this trailer was released and my friends and I could not believe what we were seeing. And this was just the cinematic trailer. This isn't even a gameplay trailer or anything, but just from this alone you could tell it was going to be a darker story. The stakes were going to be higher. It was going to be a more dire situation. This is going to be the true fall of Cybertron. 11-year-old me was absolutely ecstatic. How do you even top the first game? What do you do differently to make this stand out? How do you make this better than the first? What do you do differently? And on August 21st, 2012, all of those questions were answered. The game was officially released, and I owned it on my PlayStation 3, and people were playing it, and, well...
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Yeah, it was amazing. The first thing that I noticed as a kid when I opened this game up for the very first time and started playing it was how improved the graphics and the sound design was. It was on another level. This is how you're supposed to do a sequel. You don't try and reinvent the wheel. You don't try and fix what isn't broken. You take what worked the first time around, you tinker with that a little bit, you do that again, but you add on it, you improve upon it, you polish it up, you add another layer of clear coat, and this is what you get, and it was absolutely perfect. And I'm not even talking just on a technical level. I'm not just talking about, obviously, the graphics and the sound design. I'm talking about the score. The musical score was better this time around. The writing was stronger, the story and the plot was thicker, it was more dense, it was more character-driven, and things were just on a different level with this game. The gameplay you see in the background is actually from YouTuber Tetra Ninja, who streamed these games, and this is the very first mission of the game. It shoves you right into the action, it puts you right in the front lines, and it literally starts you on this super desperate mission. You feel the gravity of the situation, you feel how desperate the Autobots are, you understand the circumstances, and it's just amazing. So where do you go from here? The multiplayer in both games was absolutely phenomenal, and the story obviously in both games was exceptional too, but it felt like the story had ended. The Autobots and Decepticons have had their giant final showdown, and everything has come down to this, and the Decepticon and Autobot ships are both being pulled through time and space through this portal. Everything you have done throughout these two games has led to this moment, and... it was over. The board had been wiped clean, the story was concluded, everything that you had been fighting for throughout the past 20 to 30 hours with these two games was done.
Wow! Is this a joke?
No, Sal, this was no joke. On June 24th, 2014, Transformers Rise of the Darkspark was officially released. The reviews were a completely different story this time around, most reviews skewing from positive to mixed to negative, most of them falling within the negative to mixed range. I played this game when it came out and I did not understand the hate for it at all. I freaking loved this game and I played the escalation so much on my PlayStation 3. And upon replaying it, I've got to be honest, I still don't hate this game. I mean, sure, it definitely does not come close to matching the heights of War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron, but on its own, I think it has plenty to offer. And I would happily include this game in a 3-part trilogy pack if they ever do remaster these games. Both games before this, both War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, had escalation, which was survival, as well as a full-fledged online multiplayer that included things like Team Deathmatch, Conquest, and the standard online multiplayer things. This game did not have that. They did thankfully keep the escalation mode, which was a very good thing, because the escalation mode, quite frankly, was my favorite part of the previous 2 games. I love survival-based game modes. And you could play that online with other people, or play it by yourself in a private match. But not having the massive multiplayer lobbies with deathmatch, team deathmatch, and all that kind of stuff was a massive, massive letdown. However, I did thoroughly enjoy the escalation, and I did think the campaign was a-okay. The campaign definitely did not have the stakes nor the plot to keep it going as well as the first 2 games did, but I still thought it was fine. Nothing groundbreaking, just fine. I did, however, think that the blending of the Cybertron elements and the Earth elements was a cool way to do it. And that is the trilogy of Transformers Cybertron games. I always love talking about these games because these are legitimately some of my favorite games that have ever been made. They hold such a special place in my heart, and I know they do to a lot of other people too. Which is why I'm so excited to let those of you who don't already know that the servers for Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and Rise of the Darkspark are officially up and running once again. I'll put the link to the Discord in my bio, but it is super easy to get it up and running, and it has been unreal being able to play games like Rise of the Darkspark, Dark of the Moon, and Fall of Cybertron online with friends again. The project is called Transformers Re-Energized, and it has literally re-energized the Transformers gaming community, and it is such an amazing thing to see. I love all of these games to death, yes, even Rise of the Darkspark, and I love that this community has taken the initiative and gotten the online servers back up and running again. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you out on the battlefield.
Back to the heart of the war.